Hello, my name's Ruthian Knight. I'm the Community Forest Ranger here at Glenan Wood. We're situated in southwest Cowell on the peninsula here, next to the Portavadi to Tarbert ferry route. Glenan Wood itself has recently come into community ownership via the Scottish Land Fund, and we're 148 hectares of Atlantic rainforest. My role primarily is to oversee and strategize dealing with the three major threats to the woodland. There's an age class crisis with the trees currently. We've got lots of veteran trees, but not a lot of regrowth. And the reason for that is due to the deer density, both in the woodland, but also prevalent in the local region in general. There's also an issue with rhododendron here in Argyll and here in Glenan in particular, and also other invasive species such as Sitka spruce.
My name's Gordon Gray-Stevens. I'm a man in the best traditions on the west coast who wears a lot of hats, essentially. So one of the other hats that I wear is as a member of the Alliance for Scotland's Rainforest. And that's a relatively new grouping that's come up in the last 5 years or so. And it's looking at the scope for ecosystem restoration. So that the big threats to this area, to these woodlands, are invasive species, particularly rhododendron, and the inappropriate herbivore levels, particularly too many wild deer. You can't deal with either of those two issues on a small scale. You have to deal with them at a population level to do it effectively. So where you have a rhododendron thicket, nothing else survives. So it kills all the other vegetation and plants in underneath its dark extent, and it spreads with ease and enthusiasm.
We do encourage volunteers to come out and help with sort of conservation working parties, but we're also looking at a working group model at the moment where we can engage an older population to help with the various management aspects of the woodland, such as business, arts and crafts, courses and events, buildings, and ecology, that sort of thing.
My name's Ian Jorgensen. I'm the Managing Director at Portavadi Estates Limited. We're a resort destination based out in Lochfine. Visitors, guests, teams, crews, staff, businesses are much more in tune with what's happening on their doorstep, much more into nature, and there's a great opportunity working with community forests to really engage with the forest, understand what its assets are, get involved with the forest being part of our culture, getting out and exploring it, enjoying the fauna, the wildlife, and really understanding it in a safe, interesting way that can engage people. And I think there's a great opportunity with community forests in general and how they are going to really complement business and lifestyles to the benefit of the communities that they're in and they serve. But also they do need people to care after them. They won't care for themselves. So you know, pathways, access, you know, how do we make it interesting for people? There's things that we have on our doorstep that are underappreciated, they're underused, and they could form much more of the rich fabric in which we live and work and play.
The other way we're trying to support the local economy is by providing a venue for softer forms of ecotourism, experiential educative courses and experiences, and also forest school type experiences for younger people. These are all things which aren't at loggerheads against the conservation efforts we're trying to employ, such as managing the rhododendron, the deer and the Sitka plantations. We bought, as part of the small grant we used to plant this area, some apple pressing equipment. We've got a scratter and an apple press, and quite recently we had some locals arrive at the school, and they were pressing apples from their orchards in the local area.
If we're going to have a resilient landscape and also resilient communities in the face of our biodiversity and climate crisis, that those that diversity will help both nature and people face up to the challenges that appear to be coming our way.
Behind me we have approximately 4 hectares of woodland that needs felling at the moment. Rather than felling it ourselves and restocking with the same species, we're looking for something that involves the community and helping their needs. So we're in conversation with the Woodlots, Scottish Woodlots Association at the moment, just looking at their model and other ways in which we can involve local people in generating an economy which helps us with the change of use from what's essentially just a few species that requires felling every 35 years to something that can be a little bit more regenerative.
And that involves people working together and collaborating with their neighbours. And actually a community woodland group is a really good basic unit for that, because you've already got people coming together to work in the community woodland. And that gives an example and a dynamic for other people looking in on this. If they see people collaborating within their community and working together, then that might inspire them to do the same.